lasagna, and I'm not gonna lie, it got a little freezer burnt, so the first couple of bites weren't the greatest. But as with anything in my life, I persevered, and we've come out successful on the other end.
And let that be the lesson. That perseverance really is the most valuable part of cooking.
I mean, it's Stouffer's like in the microwave. You can't go wrong with it. But
look, is it the kind of thing that like halfway through you have to take the foil off, or do you have to like split the foil?
No, it's you. So you start it. It's like the little like clear plastic. You pull it back, start, and then you do pull it all the way back the rest at the end. And it's like 13 minutes. And I got the meat lover version. It's not bad. It's Stouffer's,
I'm gonna be honest. First off, anything that takes 13 minutes to microwave, I might as well just cook myself a meal at that point. And then, like, again, if it makes me have to do more than one step that's beyond, like, take out of box, put into microwave, like, if I have to, like, pull the foil back a little bit and then halfway through, like, poke a hole over the mashed potatoes to make sure that the brownie doesn't burn. Like, it's too many steps. I might as well just cook a meal.
No. I will gladly peel that plastic back. I will stab my knife above the mashed potatoes. And I'll do it. I'll do it all because I'm not going to cook myself a meal. Especially lasagna. I can't make lasagna in 13 minutes.
No, but and if you can take an afternoon to make a lasagna, and then you have 6 lasagnas in your fridge that you can warm up in a minute and a half.
Okay, see, Jeff, you're using logic, and I'm just here to be fed. I didn't come to learn tonight. I didn't come to do math. I came to be fed.
Look, lasagna is one of my favorite meal prep things, though. That's the thing. Like, on a day off, I will cook a whole vegetarian lasagna, and then Jules and I both have 3 meals worth of food for the coming week. And that, like, I cook that on a Tuesday. That takes care of the rehearsal week. I don't have to worry about lunch.
I mean, again, I see the points you're making. But the thing is, that means on Tuesday, on my day off, I have to get out of bed and have to prep this lasagna. And I don't think you understand that when I said I did nothing on my days off this week, quite literally, I got up on Monday just to go to Shady Maple, and I got out of bed on Tuesday to go to McDonald's. And then came back and went back to bed.
Wait, you went to Shady Maple and I was not informed that there was a Shady Maple outing?
It's Katie Markey's fault. It's Katie
Markey? Fault. It was Markey?
It was Markey. Listen, I'm just the messenger. That was she. No, you know whose fault it is. You know whose fault it is.
Josh Kaknich.
Jules. Because she posted it in the group with plenty of time, plenty of notice. Jules should have let you know.
That I am glad that I am not a member of the Facebook group that the cast has, but there are things that I miss because I'm not.
Yeah, she wanted to go to Shady Maple, and it wound up being, this is just going to make it worse for you. It was me, Marky, Pete, and Sally. So you would have had a blast. You would have had such a good time.
That's the best freaking group. It's the best group.
Also, it was steak night. It was
all right.
Yeah. So.
It's all right. I'll just, I'll get next time I feel like going to Dragon Sushi Buffet, going alone. Not telling anyone. I'm just going alone.
I'll sense it. I'll know. Did you go to Country Kitchen on Tuesday?
No.
Oh.
No. That one I knew about. Jules and I opted not to.
That's fair.
Welcome, everybody in the comments to the conversations of Jonathan and I talking about missed and not missed food opportunities from the past week.
What is Mexican salad? Dan Gualtieri, what is Dragon Sushi Buffet? It is the Holy Land, my guy. It's on Fruitville Pike in Lancaster, and it's clean, it's nice, the food is good, and the sushi, so good. Wait, somebody said Dragon is good, but Sushi One is best sushi in Lancaster. Where's Sushi One?
Sushi One is good, fresh sushi. Dragon Sushi Buffet is like, I've never expected buffet sushi to be good. In fact, I generally avoid buffet sushi. But Dragon Buffet's sushi is actually legit good sushi.
Yeah. And it's like, it's basics, don't get me wrong, but it is good. Good. Across from the Starbucks?
Yeah, it is right across from the Starbucks. Well, it's on like the same side of the street, but across a side street. Because there's the Starbucks in the Walmart parking lot.
Yes. And then so is it in the place with like the pizza place, that little like strip mall looking place that we're talking about?
Kind of, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. No, they do not. They don't make it to order, but they do make it fresh. I mean, you watch them make it back there.
Yes, you watched the sushi slaves rolling the sushi right before they put it on the thing, like.
And they do it good too. And the dumplings.
Oh yes, they have their bao. Like, I just like dipping the bao in the dumpling sauce. It's so good.
Yeah, it's good. But I'll be honest, there are a handful of, like, I almost said genres of food that I could have consistently. Italian, Chinese and Japanese, and probably like Thai food, which I love Thai food.
I had super spicy Thai food last week. On like Thursday, Jules and I ordered in, and then I was pooping the next day. What up, gang, in the comments? But I've never been so happy to have to poop so bad.
So I will say yesterday, so for all of you in the comments that are listening, since we're on the topic of food, so my family comes every year. And every year they come here, there's a handful of places they always have to go, but they always like to try somewhere new as well. And so because of that, I have experienced a lot of different places around here. And I just was like, oh, this is just normal. And yes, Julia, the bonsai roll from Kugo, it is quite literally fried chicken and avocado. But it was what Hannah and Amanda would order. Kugo's good too in Lebanon. Their spicy tuna roll. And it's good hibachi too.
I thought wasn't Kugo like they were super pared back for a while? Have they like reopened fully now?
I honestly don't know. I was talking about ordering from there the other day, but I didn't, because they also, which they've always done this, they have like hours for lunch, and then they take for lunch, and then they take like a break in the afternoon, and then have it. Not white people sushi. But the other day when I was gonna order it, it was during that like time they weren't open. So I don't know. I need to try it out and see. Also, but here's the thing: I love sushi, and I've eaten sushi from Giant. So like, I don't have a fancy palate when it comes to sushi.
Okay. But have you ever been to Giant at like 8 a.m. when they open and they have yesterday's leftover sushi there, and you go, maybe it's not that bad? Just me?
No. Here's the thing. I'm not saying I wouldn't, but I do not frequent grocery stores very often at 8 a.m. I, to be honest, don't frequent many places at 8 a.m.
But it's so quiet. No one's there. It's just me and a few septuagenarians. And it's peaceful, and I can get all of my shopping done.
Yes, $5 Sushi Wednesday. The Giants, Rachel knows. I will say, though, that the last time I was there, they had guacamole, like, out. And it was, like, fresh guacamole. And I was like, it's $5. I'll try it. It was damn good guacamole. I did eat almost all of it in one sitting at the party that night. I wasn't drinking, and I was like, I'll just eat my guacamole instead. But it was fresh. I mean, it was like real, like homemade. It was delicious.
So you got guac drunk.
Giant knows what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
I'm gonna be honest, Dan. I don't hate the sound of that. It sounds pretty good to me.
I don't know. I'm a little odd about like coffee and like the raw fish. I would get worried it would do something odd in my stomach, but I can understand the like you wanting the two different like extremes.
Yeah. And like I love leftover Chinese food for breakfast.
Yes.
Like back when I was a teacher, I would over order Chinese food so that in the morning before going to school, I had almost like the equivalent of a thing of some like sesame tofu and fried rice as breakfast before going into school.
Yeah. The number of times that I've had like house lo mein at 9 a.m. after like, having a raucous night the night before. And it's good. I can't, it's delicious.
Yeah. I used to eat ramen for breakfast.
Like the marchon stuff, like that you put in the
I don't drink the broth when I have it for breakfast. I put like some Szechuan stir fry sauce or some teriyaki sauce in there and mix it up with some veggies and just have that as breakfast. But again, back when I was teaching and I didn't feel like waking up super early because I already had to go into school at 5:30 in the morning, that was a quick and easy breakfast for young teacher
school at 5:30 in the morning.
Back when I taught at the drug and alcohol rehab facility at the high school there where I met Doug, we started school at 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. We would pick the kids up at 6:30 a.m. because it was a residential facility, right? So they'd get breakfast at 6, and then the teachers would meet them in the cafeteria and walk them over to the school wing. And we'd begin at like 6:30 or 7 a.m. So I would get there at like 5:30 just to prep my classroom for the day.
That sounds horrible.
That's how Doug and I became friends, because we were the two people that were there early. And while we were setting up our rooms, like he'd be listening to some music or watching a documentary and I'd be commenting on it. And then we just got talking.
I just can't imagine like actively having to wake up at like 4 a.m. to get ready to like start your day. Like just the thought of that makes my stomach turn.
I mean, sometimes when Jules has to work at Starbucks, she has to get up at like 4:30 in the morning.
I will say though, one of my favorite things about Jules working at Starbucks is that she and I are similar in that even though we do have to get up super early, I cannot go to bed early. So I'll still go to bed at like 10 o'clock, even though I know I need to be up at like 3 in the morning. So.
Ooh. All right, Dan, here we go. If you want a good sit-down Italian place, Lombardi's on Harrisburg Avenue in Lancaster City. It's right by Franklin and Marshall. That's where all the rich kids go to school. It's a really good sit-down Italian place. If you want a good pizza place, Roma in Lidditz. It's like 15, 20 minutes away from the fair, but their pizza is top-notch, and the bread for their subs is so good. I crave their chicken parm subs sometimes. It's so good. So those are my picks for Italian places in Lancaster County.
I also like on Fruitville Pike, again, I frequent the Fruitville Pike. There's a place called Ciro's, which is it's in one of those like weird, like pop-up like apartment complexes that also have like shopping and restaurants. There's a place called Ciro's that is really good. They have really good. Their chicken marsala is like some of the best stuff, and they have a Bellini there that is made with gelato for the flavor, and it is so good. And it's like a really nice, like, you can go there if you want like a date night, or it can be like casual. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. But also in that shopping center is Rachel's Creperie, which is really good.
I love Rachel's.
There's Maze, which is a Mexican restaurant, which is, it's good. I mean, it's not bad Mexican. I prefer Plaza Azteca.
I'll be honest. I like Maze better than I like Plaza Azteca.
Really?
Yeah. I've never had the guac at Maze, so I know that Plaza Azteca makes it fresh table side, and I can't deny that. But yeah, I actually, like, when we went to Maze for Marita Beth's birthday, I really liked my food. And then when we went to Plaza Azteca with I think you and Mary, I was like, I liked Maze better.
I grant that I may have not ordered the correct thing at Maze. I am such a stickler. If Dana Mitchell's here, she's not. She's at the cigar bar. So I am an adventurous like person. I will try anything once. But I also am someone like, if I know I like something, I want it. And when I go to a place that has it, that's what I want. And I just like, sometimes when I go, it takes me a little while to find that. And so like, maybe I need to go back to Maze, give it another try. So, but they also put a Max's out there.
Yes.
But it's, my understanding, I have not been yet, but my understanding is it's like a to-go, like quick serve type thing.
Yeah. The original Max's in downtown Lancaster is still like, it has more space and the full menu, which if any of you ever go out on a night in downtown Lancaster and want just like a cool kind of casual dinner, Max's. It's like diner style food but elevated, alcoholic milkshakes. Last time I was there, I had buffalo chicken and waffles, which were so freaking good.
Oh, that sounds delicious. The thing is with chicken and waffles, and see, with buffalo chicken and waffles, I would like it better. But I don't like syrup, and I feel like the syrup is the thing that ties it together. But I've had it where they did chicken and waffles and like hot honey instead of syrup.
Oh, yeah.
That I was into. I love that.
When I was in New Orleans visiting Sam and Courtney, they took me to the Abita Cafe, and I had chicken and waffles, and the syrup was like a spicy praline syrup that really hit nicely with the chicken and waffles.
I've been to New Orleans 3 times now, I think, and every time I've gone, I've eaten somewhere different, and every time it has been just so good.
That's because Courtney Collado is the best food tour guide.
The thing is
on
like,
the earth.
Even there's been a couple times I've been like, she wasn't there, and it was just me and my mom wandering, and we were like, this looks good, we'll go try it. And even like just wandering into somewhere, I'm like, it was still so good. I love New Orleans. I think Pizza Hut and Fitzgerald. We already had a Pizza Hut, Debbie. Yeah, I will say that was one of my things about moving up here, is that there's so much. Even if I have to drive to Lancaster, it is so much closer than it is. Because like when I'm home, if I want Indian food, it's like 2.5 hours away, and even then it's questionable.
Himalayan started their lunch buffet up again.
Someone was asking me about it the other day, and I told them, like, you need to go, but you got to be careful, and like, because you got to plan. I was like, because it is so tiny. They're like, oh, well, how tiny is it? I'm like, I think it's 9 tables. I'm like, it is so small. Oh, the Cat's Meow. I do like the Cat's Meow.
Cat's Meow was great. Yeah, Michael asked if there's a restaurant local to Fair that we suggest.
I think Cat's Meow is good. I mean, it's. I will say it is, just like full disclosure, it is a very eclectic menu. Like, you can get all kinds of different things, and some of it, truthfully, is better than others. But yes, I like it. Apparently, somebody said the other day that Artifice in Mannheim is going to start staying open.
Yes, staying late on fair nights. They're very good. They are very nice. Jeremy Grafe and I have done trivia there before. I think he and Doug do it frequently. I've just joined him once, and we won. Star Wars trivia night. It was awesome. But that's really good. If depending on how far away from fair you're willing to go, like 15 minutes up the road, there's the Bluebird in like Cornwall, Lebanon area. And that's always a place that I recommend to people because it's just nice kind of bar, pub food kind of thing.
Oh, Michael Russo asked. I think I've been to the Bluebird with them before, actually. So they may already know about that one.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what else.
Oh, Country Kitchen is classic, like
before fair.
Yeah.
The problem is like remembering, because like with us after fair is like a solid hour after you all's after fair. And so like I don't know, like that's Cat's Meow is where my family goes, just because it's in Mannheim, it's easier. Bluebird is good. I do like Bluebird.
Appalachian Brewing Company in Lidditz.
Yes, that is
really good food, really good craft beers.
Is it open late?
They're usually open until like 10 o'clock.
Okay.
They might be open a little later on weekends, but usually the kitchen's open until 10.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else is good.
I've eaten at so many places. I've lived here for so long.
I know. And the thing is I think, like you think of something, you're like, well, no, that's probably closed. Because I know a lot of good like lunch places around fair. Like I went with Erica Firestone to a place in Lebanon called Cafe Panache, which I had been like, looking at, and she brought it up. It's not a very big place either, but it was really good.
Okay.
It's over there. It's if you turn like right when you go past Bruno's and that like strip mall, if you turn up that road, and it's over. It looks like it's in an old bank or something, but it's really good. The Gin Mill in Lebanon is good. I don't know how late they're open, but they are good.
I've heard good things about the Gin Mill.
They got a good beer selection. Mm-hmm. And it's a like the atmosphere there would be a good like post fair, like. And truthfully, I think that's what I like about the Cat's Meow is that like you can go there if you want like a nice night, but you can also like show up in shirts and a t-shirt and you won't feel out of place. So.
The Bull's Head in Lidditz. They're open until like 9:30, 10 o'clock ish. And it's an English style pub. So, you can still be in kind of the fair mood, but they have really good beers on tap. They have a lot of good beer on cask pull. That are really good, and their fish and chips are probably my favorite fish and chips in the Lancaster area. Debbie says they have a new meatloaf in the school cafeteria this year.
It's the poor middle school. All of the schools now. Well, no, not except the primary school, I guess. So when they started renovating schools in my hometown, they renovated the primary and the middle school first. And now they have renovated the elementary school and the high school, which the high school they put so the middle school and primary school are on one edge of the county, and the high school is now on the absolute opposite other side of the county, which I don't understand. Like it is practically in the next county. But it's so funny because now all of those are so new, and the primary and middle school you can tell are like they're so like 90s construction. And so I feel you, Debbie.
All right. So Dan, Aaron, you guys live very close to where I grew up. When I was in high school, I was out in New Brunswick with a bunch of friends. Because they lived in New Brunswick, and we found a pizza place. It was a restaurant that one half of it was a pizza place, and the other half was a sushi restaurant. And they were separated by a literal like rain curtain. And so we were feeling it that night. We weren't drunk. We weren't high schoolers that drank. We just were weird kids that went out and did shit. So we went to the pizza half of this place and ordered slices of pizza, But first we went to the sushi half of the place and ordered sushi rolls. So by the time we got our pizza, our sushi rolls were ready, and we put the sushi on the pizza. Sushi pizza, boom. Dan's been there. Yes.
I'm not surprised by that. I'm not surprised by that.
It was not far from my favorite comic book place I've ever been to, because it was an ice cream parlor comic book store.
I have not put sushi on pizza, but I have had a sushi Rito.
Yeah, sushi Rito is very good.
So also poke. I love poke.
Oh yes.
Poke station out there in Langston. So good. Also talking about local places, Open Lake. Sheets is all.
If you want to go hang out with the Lebanon high school kids tuning up their pickups,
I need you to know that because of my schedule this year on a fair day and like just how this last week was with opening, they were like, "Do you want to go to Sheets on Saturday night?" And I was like, "I don't want to, because I would see more fair patrons at Sheets after the show than I had all day during the show." Because that's the thing, is like you roll up and I will be honest with y'all, and some of you all know this because I've seen y'all there in garb. No one looks cute after a fair day. No one looks cute. We all, like the queen has like removed her wig, like it's, the curtain's been drawn back. And so there have been so many times I've been at Sheets that people have come in and I'm like, you can just tell they're like looking at you, and I'm like, please don't talk to me. I am in like flip-flops right now. I am sweating. I smell terrible. And I just want my Wisconsin cheese fries.
That's why I go to the Sheets and Lidditz after fair days, because never run into people there.
That's fair. I will say Matthew, Glenn Clark, and he looked at me on Saturday. During the day, I saw him at one point, and he was like, "We're going to keep up with our tradition." And I was like, "Yes." So on Saturday night, we go to McDonald's, and on Sunday night, we go to Taco Bell. And that's our...
Sunday night is mine. Taco Bell is mine. Jules' Sunday night tradition. Yeah.
But you go to the Lidditz one, which is nicer. The one in Lebanon, it's a hit or miss. Like, if you got more than one order, you're not getting something. They're gonna forget something.
The Lidditz one went through some growing pains last year, though. You remember when they opened.
I don't know if I ever told that story on here. So they opened a new one in Lidditz, and me, Alex, my partner in crime, and our old production stage manager, Amanda, who is quite literally the best of us, like just like the greatest human being alive. They opened up the new Taco Bell in Lidditz, and we were like, it's fancy. We need to go. It's going to be great. We were in the drive-thru for an hour, and 7 minutes of that was at the window. It was not us waiting in a line. It was not us. We literally had at the speaker, got up there, paid, and just sat. To the point where we drank our drinks, and Amanda was like, "Do you think we could ask them for a refill?" And the thing is too, at that Taco Bell, the window is massive, and you can like just see inside. And so we're just sitting there, and we're like, "Don't make eye contact, don't make eye contact." But we have been here for 47 minutes. It has gotten much better, but that was funny. That was a rough night. We had a good laugh about that.
Yeah, now they are fast. Like, our food is ready when Jules and I get there. Like, it's good.
That's nice. I will say though, I have had some good times with Alex and Amanda at the Taco Bell, because we also went, not the Lidditz one, but the Lebanon one. We went, and the whole way there, we were like, y'all, we're not going to judge each other for the amount of food we're about to order. Like, we want Taco Bell. It's been a long day. Like, we're about to treat ourselves. We order, and like we're sitting there, and it was like $50 worth of food. We're like, we have ordered a lot. And we get up to the window, and the woman goes, "Are y'all the big order?" And we're like, and we're like, yes, we are. You missed the memo about not judging us for our Taco Bell order. Oh yeah, there's a Five Guys. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Oh, Jonathan, have I ever told you about the grease trucks?
No.
Okay. So at Rutgers University, there is this was before like food trucks were cool. They've been there for a long time. They are called the grease trucks, and they serve up fat sandwiches. All of the sandwiches are like the fat Daryl, the fat Elvis, and they are freaking stuffed. Like, now every place does this, but back in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, when they were like a huge cultural icon, imagine a sub with chicken fingers, French fries, mozzarella sticks, all on the sub.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Jeff. Though my size is deceiving, I never got into the whole like random side things thrown onto a sandwich. But I can't imagine it. So
and then I think it was if you ate 3 of them, you got to like name a sandwich. It was either like 3 or 6. It was some large number, maybe 5, but you could create and name a sandwich. And my friend Big Steve, aptly named, could only do like 2.5.
Listen,
maybe next time, instead of taking you to Harold's, I'll take you up to Rutgers and get you some fat sandwiches.
I was like, here's the thing. At this point, I have no choice to believe you, because you told me all those years about Harold's, and you're like, you don't know how big any of this is. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then it all gets put in front of me, and I'm like, oh no, Jeff wasn't lying. Like, that's holy cow. That's a massive pancake. But boy, was it good. And what was it? The hash, the
pastrami hash.
Yes. Oh my God, the pastrami hash.
Mm-hmm. Harold's New York style deli. It's good stuff.
I told someone the other day, because with the mansion shows and all that, I told someone, I was like, it's nice being here to the end of the year and like getting money and all of that. I was like, but the true joy of being in those shows is getting to go to Jeff's family's house for the different holidays. Thanksgiving with the Wolfalls, great time. It was, and even Easter, I will say it was. I tried gefilte fish, not for me.
That was Passover. Easter.
Passover Easter service.
For you Gentiles, Easter.
Yeah. I will say my favorite part about it was your dad explaining to me and Jules, and being like, normally you wouldn't eat for 2 hours and you would just read the whole book and you'd sing and all this. He goes, well, the wolf dolls don't like to go that long without eating, so we're gonna read a little bit and we'll eat along. And I was like, I support that. Also, matzah. Damn, do I love matzah. With some butter. Mm-hmm. That's how I know I'm Southern. You can take the blandest food quite literally on the planet, and you're like, slather some butter. I'm like, hell yes, give me please as much of this as possible.
Yeah, because previously the only matzah you had was when I would bring it to use as a bit during Oktoberfest weekend.
Right. So, and then, and I was like, or I'd had like, matzah crack before, like that stuff. I'm like, this is great. But I had heard people talk about it, and then I saw it. I'm like, oh, and they're like, just put some butter on it. I was like, I don't know what y'all complaining about. This is the greatest thing I've ever had. But then your dad looks at me and goes, be careful, it's binding. And I was like, noted, I got you.
It's not a meal in a Jewish household until someone brings up constipation.
It's
binding. If you would like to pay for Jonathan's next enema, you can Venmo us at the IT Crowd.
I need all of you. If you send some in, even if it's $1, just put in the tagline for the enema, because it goes to Alex, and I want him to get this and be like, what the hell? Also, speaking of Alex, did you see what his grandmother commented on a picture of him on?
No.
I think it was Courtney Koval took the picture,
Okay.
And it was him running around the circle at Boons and Favors, and his grandma commented on it and was like, oh, I gotta find it. It's so funny. She said, boy, does she look bent out of shape. He posted it in the, I'm gonna send it to you. He posted it in the Facebook group last night and was like, y'all see where I get it from. She's a hateful old woman. And I was like, I love the fact that on her original comment, there's one haha reaction, and it's me. And he goes, that's because you're a hateful old woman too. There she is. There she is. Ugh. I will say, someone, did I tell you what Liz Jitzel, I always say the name wrong, said about Alex in the dress? That they love seeing Alex run in the dress because you can tell when Lady Lilith hits turbo mode. And you can really tell how aerodynamic the space between her knees is. It was so... I did mess up and bring that up at tea time, which then led to the two of us having a race, which we tied. Which I think says more about me, because he's in a corset and a dress, and I am just, you know, I mean, I'm in a couple layers. Let's
I was gonna say you're wearing a heavy ass shab.
But I should have been. But you know, it was very funny, and that's what it started with us talking about Alex's knees.
I guess the Russos have video of your race.
Oh gosh. The stank face. I will say.
Oh, choice face in that photo.
Oh yeah. I told someone the other day, so normally Michael Ulrich takes really good pictures of me. There's been a couple this year that I'm like, oh, he caught me and I was not ready. And normally Courtney Koval's pictures of me are like the ones that people would use at your like graduation to be like, haha, like this is how terrible you looked. And I was like, oh, that's so sad. And then, but this year it swapped. I was like, you know, this year Michael Ulrich, some of his, I'm like, oh, I look better than that. And Courtney Koval's was like, dang, she made me look good. So, but yeah, that's.
Look, yeah. Doug and I used photos that Courtney Koval took of our fight in 2020.
Yeah,
we used that as promo stuff for the Duo of Woo, because they were just good photos, good action shots of us.
Well, listen, that picture Sam Little took of you in such a good picture.
That was so much. I mean, first off, it was me doing improv with a bunch of people that I love doing improv with, and it was taken by one of my favorite collaborators that I just miss working with.
Yeah.
It was so fun seeing him with his students at the Fair for Kids Days.
We need a year where the villain at Parf isn't wearing black. To be fair, I did throw around the idea at one point of being in hot pink.
That's why you have pink feathers, is because I was like, I want him in pink.
Yeah, because if most of you who are here have seen it or will at some point, my character is highly influenced by Dolores Umbridge, just like within the writing of it. And so there was a time when we talked about seriously having me in hot pink. I was all for it. Honestly, I was like, I'm game. But, you know, here's the thing.
It subverts the villain. Being in all black, like a hot pink frilly villain is so subversive.
Yeah. And
that's one of the terrifying things about the character of Umbridge.
And I will say that would have been a fun dynamic to play too, where it was like, because the thing is with the black, which let me clear the air right now. I am not complaining about the black because do I look good in the black.
Mm-hmm.
And it just has this sort of like commanding, which really informs the character, which is nice. But I will say it is fun to think about how different the character would have been if I was in some like hot pink, like frilly, to just be kind of like, and then at the end of the day be like, die. So that would have been that, you know. But I can't lie. Part of that, I was very honest when we were planning on this, and I told everyone that I wanted it to be as different of a character as I have ever played at
Mhm.
and so like as much fun as that would have been, it is nice to play something like so stern the
Mhm.
rest of the day.
Yeah, because
'Cause it is.
you've done the Pink before, Edward. You
Yeah,
know, as Edward DeVere
right.
and all
So
that.
it's nice to it's a nice it's nice. It is a subversion of expectations
Mhm.
in a different way. I mean, it very much paints me as the villain, but it is not a character that you expect me to play.
But there are still people that don't think you're the bad guy until
No,
you've been revealed as the bad guy.
I
Spoilers for the season affair, by the way.
sorry,
Sorry.
if you didn't get it from the picture of me that I put on Facebook, but one of the people we work with, the she was interviewing people. Oh, thanks, Dan. But she was
Yeah.
interviewing people and was like, "Who do you think still not hope?" And literally every person said the Lady Mayor. And I think that is so funny. And she was like, I don't think we could have made it any more obvious. But okay, like, ugh.
If there's one thing Arthur and I are known for, it's our subtlety.
Subtlety. And you know me, little subtle Susie that I am. I will say though, walking out at finale and having people just like scream at you, it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. Even if it isn't being like, "Oh, for this head," I'm like, it's dope. I can't lie. So, but you were the villain before too. You were the Scottish prisoner of war.
Yeah. But so that character wasn't really a villain until Halloween. For most of the season, like I was just kind of antagonistic, but I was like chained up and kind of like chill about it. But very like, it's a good thing I'm in these chains because if I was set free, I'd kill all of you. But then I would just get really like cocky at chess and insult the king, and then the king would have to kick my ass. Which was great. And then at Halloween, I like necromancer summoned the spirit of the dead Scottish king and possessed Todd Smith. So that's when I got to be the villain, and I had like a villain apology at the beginning of finale that I could improv because Justice trusted me to do that, and I think he forever regrets that decision. But it led to some really great moments on the last night affair that year.
I will say though, I like that I don't apologize at finale. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I still obviously get my comeuppance. You all will see eventually, but I do like that I don't ever apologize. I'm still, I don't care. You know, that's fine. That's just to like not regret what I've done.
Yeah.
So.
Well, because not every villain is redeemable.
No, not me and Dan having this. He told me this. He said the same thing to me after Sunday night. He was like, "I love that you don't apologize." And I was like, "Yeah, me too." Mm-hmm. So I will say it is fun to play. You know, we always talk about as actors getting a new audience. It is fun to play because even like at Queen's Court and Midday Rebels, it is like I'm annoying. But it's like you're like, okay, whatever. But then at Tournament of Arms, to like have the end of it be what it is, and like instantly have that turn, that's also really fun too. You know? So.
And that ending was almost much worse.
Yeah. I will say that was one of my favorite dialogues with Alexis, was being like, "Oh, I'm sexist. They're making me do this, and I'm fat." And she was like, "Yeah, we really broke you fat." And then just me and her being like, "It's reading heavy," and I'm like, "Oh." So,
is it reading a little squishy? So we still have 15 minutes left in the stream. If anyone has any questions that they want to ask Jonathan or me or anything else that you'd like us to discuss, we are happy to talk about. Dan, I want to see more footage of your acting exploits.
I will say I've seen him like sing, him performing Love Shack. Great. Fantastic.
Oh.
Yep. At a corporate event that he put together. It went off fantastically.
I did watch the commercial that he put together for yes.
So good.
Flight School looks so much fun.
I will say too, watching it, there were a couple things, and I'm like, this is such a Jeff Briscoe moment. When he was like, here, and then it looks like when he's like, yeah, I'm like, that's Jeff. That's Jeff.
It's just a Jersey boy thing.
So, Heather Rothwell wants to know, when do you start thinking about next year's scenario?
We actually so this was the first year that we went into our summit trying to come up with a multi-year plan. I don't know if everything will eventually pan out as we planned it at this year's summit, but we were actually thinking about next year's scenario when we came up with this one, trying to like have it build into something, but I don't know if that's actually going to be a thing. But it was nice to think about. And there have been other ideas tossed around. So yeah, we're always thinking about what's coming in the future, but we like really nail it down when we do our summit in the beginning to middle of January.
I will say, sorry, I'm getting water. I will say, the last couple of years, just because of what they were with the pandemic and all that, had this sort of underlying hecticness to them, and this year, like, really having a plot and coming in, like, really knowing what we were going into. Really nice, I gotta say. It was nice to like catch our breath, and feel like we caught back up after the craziness of a couple of years. So. It's a bummer. George and Grandma Rosie and Wedding Singer. That's hilarious.
Oh.
I was in Wedding Singer, and oddly enough, so my twin brother was Grandma Rosie.
Yeah?
And I was Glenn Gulia. And do you know who my Julia was?
Was it Leanne Hamlin?
It was Leanne Hamlin.
Ah. I can see that. I can absolutely see that. That's some solid casting.
It was a good time.
I love The Wedding Singer. That's such a fun show.
So fun.
I mean, I was a big fan of Stephen Lynch. Some of his stuff has not aged well, but not much from the early 2000s has. Yeah. But that show is still a bop of a show.
And like, I will say that was the last time, just because of like people moving away and all of that. But there was a solid like of us at our local theater that did show like the musicals during the summer. And that one, that show's bittersweet because it was the last time that like all of us were there. Because people like moved on to different things or and so. Let's see. Michael Adelson, is tea time ever planned out at all, or is it really just go for it? It is quite literally just go for it. If someone asked us this the other day, so if you heard this before, I'm sorry, some people, but if something happens in our day or something happens during the week, we may make note of it and be like, oh, we've got to talk about this at tea time. But it is, other than moments like that, it is quite literally just me, Alex, and sometimes Alexis standing up there and talking and just like, it's it is terrifying. There are times that me and Alex will look at each other and we're like, today might be the day we walk out there and nothing we say is funny. But it is, they always say in improv, and Jeff says this all the time, that part of like being good improvisers is never having to worry about yourself because your partner has you. And that show is like, as with any of the improv shows, like the IT crowd is part of why we all love it. Is like I just know I'm so taken care of in that space, even though they do shit on me a whole lot in that show. But I'm so
Well, we shit on you a whole lot here too. So
yeah, it's my love language.
Yeah.
But so like just knowing that I am taking care of it is really nice. But yeah, it's all like fake. We all just go out there and just talk. Friday night improv coming back sometime. We miss it too. We miss it too.
I miss it so much. Part of it is getting a larger audience there, but a bigger part of it, and this is the hardest thing, is that part of what we loved about doing Friday nights was the musical improv, and we've lost all of our improv accompanists. We don't have Katie Markey there all year anymore. We don't have Adam all year anymore. We don't have Jared Haverdink all year anymore. And we have Markey now for the rehearsal process, but she hasn't had time to like train up a new person. So hopefully, maybe if Markey wants to keep music directing for us and all that works out, she might have time to train up a new accompanist. But it's finding that person who is comfortable improvising musical accompaniment to go along with our shenanigans is the hard part. And that's a big reason why we haven't been able to bring back Friday nights, is because we don't want to bring it back and it not be as good. We want to keep growing and getting better.
Also, too, like, just as musical improv is one of those things that is, when you hear about it and it is put on paper, it is the scariest thing you have ever heard of. But I need you to know that doing it is, it is quite, it's, people always say, oh, you're always chasing a high. I need you to know that doing musical improv, it is, when you finish, you do that 30-minute musical, and you finish it and the crowd is like, that was amazing. You're like, we literally just pulled all that out of our ass. You're like, I can do literally anything. And I think that's what makes me the saddest about it is, we can't have that just because of, logistics. But it's like, as an improviser and as a performer, having that feeling, I'm like, I'm so sad that so many of these, the new kids and all that won't get to experience that, because it's a high. It's just like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And you need the right cast too, because there are some times where like, sometimes a cast gets really in their heads and they don't enjoy the musical improv, and like it's a group. And so there's the chili is too hot.
And it's so wild because I can't tell you what any of them were called. I can barely tell you plots of any of them, because it is this odd, like, you black out and then you come to and you're like, okay, we did it. But there's so many people that say like, oh, this one was my favorite, or I love this part. It's just, I do miss it. I miss it.
The only thing I remember about the musical where Mike Garland and Jesse Miller were professional wrestlers was that Alex was the ring girl, and that Mike and Jesse actually headbutted each other, and we needed to fill out an incident report because they had big lumps on their heads actually headbutting each other.
That was OG Friday nights when we were at the Squash. Holy crap. I also remember Alex being some kind of like magic goblin thing and being like, hey, you're parked here next to my Mazda Miata. It's wild. Yeah, Tori, who's Jesse's back? It's 3 o'clock at the Heart?
3 o'clock at the Heart. You got Alex and Joe holding up the Long Timers Club. You got Nolani, who's not far behind in terms of the Old Timers Club. And then we got some new cast members. We got Nick Rainville, IT improv class alum Nick Rainville. Cole Rying. We got Robin Fertitta and Anna Koshriak. It is a stacked group. I taught them new games that I've never taught. The like Jonathan Alexis, Alex crew. They played one of them at Finale this weekend where every time they make the audience laugh, the person who made the audience laugh have to shove a marshmallow in their mouth. It's a new game we could never do on IT because we can't tell when you're laughing.
That's true. I'm not gonna lie. I've been given a lot this year, and I won't complain about it. But I do miss that I can't do Who's Just because it happens at the same time as Midday Revels.
Yeah, but you get fucking like singing solos in Midday Revels.
Yeah. But improv's my first love. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I went back there and Allie was like, Jeff wants you to do the Irish drinking song on Saturday night. She was like, is that okay? I was like, Allie, I need you to know that that's the greatest news I ever could have been given. I was like, finally a chance to be funny and like not be mean and like, it's just so good. It was so nice.
Alexis is still mad that we didn't include her in the Irish drinking song.
I know, I did. As soon as I turned around, she's back there. I was like, oops. Also, not someone asking about us giving them. I missed it back there. Can you give us a hint for the Halloween clap? It happens on 3 weekends of fair. I'll tell you that.
There you go.
That's all you're getting.
And that the names of the 3 Halloween weekends that we put on the website were just for shits and giggles. They have nothing to do with the Halloween plot.
What are they?
We just wanted to make each weekend sound different. It's like Halloween Days and Spooky Nights, Scratchy's Revenge, and Halloween Days and Spooky Nights 2, Night of the Living Dead. It used to be Friday nights or Halloween Days and Spooky Nights 2, Undead Boogaloo, but I was told recently that Boogaloo has been co-opted by white supremacists, and so we promptly changed that.
Jeez. Also, I heard, and I don't want to start any war in the comments, so I'm not going to say that it's fact, but I heard we may not have Scratchy this year.
Oh, I don't know.
I heard after last year, Scratchy wasn't doing that great in storage.
Aww.
Makes me so sad. But I don't know if that's fact, so don't take that from me. But you saying Scratchy's revenge made me. The Scratch Man, he's got my heart. The bride of Scratchy.
That's what it was. It was Halloween Days and Spooky Nights, Halloween Days and Spooky Nights 2, Night of the Living Dead, KNIGHT, and then Halloween Days and Spooky Nights 3, Bride of Scratchy.
That's,
Just scatter his pieces all over the fairgrounds.
Not the ashes of Scratchy. Oh my god, that would be such a fun scavenger hunt, though.
The ashes of Scratchy.
Find the pieces of Scratchy scattered around the Shire.
It's like gathering like the eye of Vecna, the hand of Vecna. You got like the shin bone of Scratchy.
It's like that the Harry Potter one. You find the different
the Horcruxes.
Yeah, and it's like find these different pieces of Scratchy. Just throwing it out there.
That's fun. That's very fun.
I love Halloween here. I'm very excited for it. I'm just excited for cooler weather. Although it was nice today, I won't lie.
Yeah, today like got up to whatever 90 degrees, but it didn't feel like a 90-degree day.
Yeah. It was. Ooh. At least it wasn't Saturday. Although, it's so funny. We've talked about this, but when you're in that costume, you don't really notice it until like you're backstage and you're just like, oh wait, I am like drenched in sweat. But I will tell you, back to being in all black. On a fair day, everyone worries so much about me, which I appreciate. I appreciate so much. It is so sweet. But I suffer from this thing called vanity. And because I look so good in the costume, I refuse to take any piece of it off. And so our costumer came up to me and she was like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine. She's like, you're covered in sweat. She's like, you can take the job off. And I was like, no, I can't. She's like, you can take your sleeves off. I'm like, no. It's all part of it and it looks good. And I'm not removing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why I told you all that, but there you go. Welcome. There's a little thing about me.
It's solid. I mean, there's one possibility for my costume this weekend because my character Steve changes for the theme weekend, where this weekend I'm Steve the Pirate because I can't resist a good dodgeball reference. That's why my name is Steve. But there's this cool, like, heavy pirate captain's coat that I might wear if it's not balls hot. But then option number 2 is like a vest and a striped shirt, like basically Austin's shirt when he was the first mate, but a different vest and stuff like that, which is also very cool. I'm very excited, but I'm going to be switching in and out of that because you all get the inside scoop. On Saturday, I am pulling double duty as Steve and Sebastian Hopgrove, because our actor who plays Sebastian is the best man in a wedding for some people that got engaged at Trial and Dunk back in 2019.
I was there. It was so full circle, baby, full circle.
So I hope I get to wear the pirate captain's coat, but maybe just on Sunday when I'm not pulling double duty as Steve, the events host, and as Sebastian Hopgrove.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. And you know this, and you will you know this, but you will find it out again Saturday. Changing in and out of costume on a fair day is quite literally the worst thing ever. I mean, like, I would rather stand in the sun at TOA and feel my feet bake on that dais than change. And more than that, changing out of wet clothes into not quite dry clothes because of sweat is
sweaty.
Terrible. Although I did on Sunday, I asked the girls, I was like, can I put my shirt in the dryer? And they're like, oh yeah. And I was like, oh thank God, I'll put something dry on. But we do it because we love all of you. And also because we're contracted and that's what we have to do.
Yeah. Oh man, nothing was worse than being in Trial and Dunk, getting Trial and Drench back in 2014, getting a shower, and then showering and getting back into your dirty, sweaty clothes. Yeah. It's a fun time.
Last year when I did Trial and Dunk, it was not that bad because I had a room in Commons. So I could go to the bathroom and then, I would take my robe in there and I'd like dry off and then wear my robe back to my room. So my room never got wet and so I could just be completely dry to put everything back on. But this year I don't live down there. I live where I live, and so having to do all of that in the costume shack with that like plywood floor that just like retains water, it is. Oh, it's the worst. But we do it and it's great and it's fun and I get to cool off in the middle of a fair day.
That's true. So just to manage expectations, Joe, I will not be doing Brawl as Sebastian. Alexis will be doing Sebastian's part in Brawl. I'll just be Sebastian in the plot shows. So I will be doing his TOA fights, but I will not be in Brawl.
I'm so sorry, Joe. Although it would have been cool to see you in Brawl, but that's a lot.
If I had more of the season to prep for it, maybe I could have done it.
Yeah.
But it's weekend 2.
Fair enough. I love Erin. I made Evelyn's dress with no real sleeves because she will never take off her little dress no matter how much. She takes after her drag mother. That's yeah.
It was. I remember when Alex got out of the like main part of the Lilith dress for Sunday's finale. He was not happy about it. He was like, "I can't believe I'm doing this," but
we have that. We like to look pretty, know?
Your costumes are gorgeous. I wouldn't want to take those off either.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, although I will say, so, Katie Birch, who most of you know and love, is very pregnant right now. And the other day she sent me a video of her standing in front of the mirror. And she's like, when you look at me at this angle, she's like, you're like, oh, totally normal, like somewhat skinny, athletic girl, blah, blah. And she's like, and then boom. And she turns to the side and it's just like massive belly. And I said back to her, I was like, quite literally, that's me anytime I wear anything, especially in this costume, because some of y'all sent this picture, but I took a picture of myself in the dressing room on costume parade day in just like the base layer of my costume. Snatched just because of how everything is. Like I've got the side seams and the big, like the puffy pantaloons, so it makes me look, I mean, hourglass, baby. Aaron Gualtieri sound off. Y'all saw it anyway. But then, then when I turn around, turn to the side, any illusion of shape is gone. It's just like, oop, there it all is. So, it's just, it's just a matter of hiding it,
Yeah.
That roast was risque. What was his roast on Saturday?
Is that when he called Sebastian or Kurt and Philomena salt and pepper? I don't think it was that risque. He didn't have a talking to. There was nothing that he said that warranted a talking to. There have been finale bits that have necessitated talkings to, but Alex's roasts have never been one of them. He's very good at towing that line.
Well, he said that, and it's one of those things. Like he has that relationship with those people, so he knew that he was fine to say it with the people that it was involved. But he said it, and all these people were like, "Oh, like don't say that," and I'm like, I don't think it's that bad. And then even more so afterwards, I had like 3 people come up to me and they're like, "Are you okay with what he said about you?" And I was like, "Bitch, that was tame."
Yeah,
that was tame. And then like someone was like, "I can't believe he said that about Jewel," and I'm like, they've known each other for 6 years. Like what the heck? So it was very funny. But no, he didn't.
Yeah, no. Well, it's 9:06. We've been going on for an hour and 6 minutes. First half hour was just food recommendations. But this has been a great time.
It has been. It was nice. I will say, I messaged Jeff the other night when I saw the announcement. I was like, it's literally just the 2 of us. And then Jeff today at work was like, what do you want to do tonight? I was like, we'll just talk. And we did. We filled up the hour. So
tea time. What's tea time? IT Jeff and Jonathan time.
So much chiller, so much nicer, and we gave you all food recommendations.
There you go. If you liked our food recommendations, you can Venmo us at the IT Crowd. Maybe we'll start a food blog. Jeff and Jonathan's recommendations of Lancaster food.
We'll add it to the list.
Exactly.
The list of things that Jeff has told me we need to start, from like book titles to now a food blog. What the heck?
Thanks for hanging out, Jonathan.
Thanks for having me, Jeff. So
thank you to everyone who hung out with us in the comments and asked us questions and have been super awesome.
So those other folks don't know what they're. I would consider it a favor y'all post my pictures of Leanne from Mama Who Misses Her.
Not us having to post ransom photos of Leanne. She's healthy, I swear.
Debbie, I love you, but I need to know that quite literally, I see Leanne once during the day, and it's during a show. We're in Midday Rebels together. Other than that, I'll see her. But if I do, I'll be sure. I'm gonna take some. I'll take some fun candidates of her to send to you. Yeah, just for you, Debbie.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you all so much. We love you. Have a good night, and hopefully more of the team will be here, and we'll see you next week. So,
yeah.
Bye.